Imagine waking up every day believing you're in control, that your choices are your own, that your thoughts are original, and that your path is uniquely yours. But what if I told you that freedom, the kind we brag about in the modern world, might be one of the most convincing illusions ever sold? This isn't about governments or conspiracies. It's something deeper, something built into how we think, how we live, and how we see ourselves. Today, we're diving into the uncomfortable idea that you might not be as free as you think, and why that might actually be the first step toward real freedom. Let's talk philosophy. We're told that we live in the age of endless choice. 100 flavors of ice cream, thousands of careers, infinite scrolls of content, apps to date, to work, to think, to breathe. And yet, despite all this abundance, most people feel trapped, stuck in routines, burnt out, anxious, always chasing something, but never quite knowing what. So what's going on? Philosopher Erich Fromm once argued that modern society gives us freedom from external authority, but not freedom to truly express ourselves. We escape the church, the monarchy, the boss, only to become prisoners of ourselves, our desires, our fears, our habits, our algorithms. What if the problem isn't that we don't have enough choice, but that too much of it blinds us from what really matters? Let's go deeper. You think you chose your breakfast? Maybe. But who taught you what breakfast is? Your job? What if it was just the highest paying option in a narrow funnel you didn't design? Your values, your goals, your beliefs. Behavioral scientists have long known what advertisers figured out decades ago. Most of our decisions happen below consciousness. We are primed, nudged, framed. We think we're reasoning, but often we're reacting. Just think of the philosopher Michel Foucault, who argued that power doesn't always control us through force, but through norms, through discourse, through shaping what feels normal or desirable before we even question it. We aren't just influenced by systems, we're produced by them. But here's the kicker. The more invisible the influence, the more powerful it is. In the West, we love the idea of the individual, the lone genius, the self-made man, the rebel, the one who follows their own path. But is that real? Philosopher Alasdair MacIntyre argued that we are not isolated atoms floating through space. We are narrative beings. We become who we are through stories, relationships, and traditions. And those stories? They come from somewhere: culture, media, history, family, TikTok. The idea of a completely autonomous self, untouched by context, is like trying to write a novel without a language. Even the rebel is rebelling against something. They are still in relationship to it. So, what does that mean for freedom? Maybe it's not about cutting ties to the world, but becoming aware of the ties that shape us. Here's another trap: comfort. In a world of pain and uncertainty, comfort sells. Comfort food, comfortable careers, comfortable beliefs. But ancient philosophers, from the Stoics to the Buddhists, warned us. Comfort can become a cage. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Meaning, we often cling to safety not because danger is real, but because our fear is. Comfort stops us from asking hard questions. It dulls the edge of our awareness. It tricks us into thinking that feeling good is the same as being good, or living well. But as existentialist thinkers like Kierkegaard and Sartre remind us, authenticity doesn't feel safe. It feels terrifying. Because to live authentically means to choose, not just once, but every moment, and real choice is hard. So if everything is influence, if even ourselves are shaped by forces we can't see, is freedom even possible? Yes, but not the way we usually think. Freedom isn't about being untouched by the world. It's about becoming conscious within it. It's about seeing the stories we've inherited and deciding whether they still serve us. It's about choosing values with our eyes open, not because we were told to or because they feel safe, but because we mean them. It's about doing what the philosopher Immanuel Kant called thinking for oneself, not just intellectually, but morally, emotionally, existentially. Real freedom isn't about escaping influence. It's about becoming an active participant in shaping who you are. And that takes work, reflection, courage, but it's also where meaning begins. So next time you scroll, consume, or choose, pause. Ask yourself, is this really me? Or just the version of me the world has trained me to be? And in that question, you might just find the first spark of liberation. Because freedom isn't given, it's discovered, and it always begins inside.